Let's do this. So today I'm celebrating the mighty egg. This little guy is pound for pound the cheapest form of protein-packed goodness in the face of the planet, and you, my little friend, are getting celebrated today. All right, so I'm gonna do a little hash with a fried egg on top. So first things first is I like to start with the hash browns. And my nanny used to make hash browns all the time. I have this memory of spending the night there and smelling these hash browns. And what she did is got them really crispy. So a little bit of oil and butter, it's gonna give you good flavor and give you crispiness. And once the pan gets hot, you wanna hear a good sizzle when you lay the hash browns in. Okay, so once the oil and the butter is really nice and hot and you can hear that pop, 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 just lay the hash browns in. Give them a bit of a shake. This is a great tip. Leave it like this. The hash brown's gonna soak up all the butter and the oil and they're gonna get really nice and crispy. And while that crisps up, then I get to work on the veg. Let's do this. All right, so keep the hash browns going, and this is another good tip. I just like to push the hash browns off to the side, and then I lay my onions in there because the onions are gonna start to cook, and it's already got wonderful potato flavor that's soaked into the butter and the oil. And if you leave the onions in the empty side, they soften up and they start to get really tasty, really quick. That's how you build flavor, even if you wanna build a little more. A little bit of salt on the onions, and they're just gonna soften up. Delicious. And then right on top of that, as that's rolling, this is really great because it's a one-pan dish. You can put the peppers there, let it go for like another minute, and then start tossing all of that goodness in. That is delicious. Smells like Nana's house. Okay, this is a perfect time to toss it because you can see, hello, there you are, hi. You can see the hash browns are starting to get nice and crispy. So you flip it all together, and now you're building some flavor. There's some crispy bits and the hash browns. The onions are starting to soften up. And then this is a perfect time to give it a nice little shot of black pepper. Smells delicious. Yeah. Now that, if you just ate that, that would be delicious. But I'm a sucker for flavor and I'm a sucker for steak and eggs. So a little bit of New York strip. And here's a great tip. Because I want it to go pretty fast, I like to cut it in thin little strips. There's a good ratio of fat and meat. And if you cut it thin, it cooks quick, flavorful, delicious. All right, so here's another good tip. Once I have this steak cut, I wanna season it because if you season it, you get more flavor and I'm all about it. So just a little bit of salt and pepper on the board, like that, and then leave a little space in your pan. And it's like the same with the onions and the peppers. So in that open spot, just hit it with a nice glug of oil, and then you can lay your little steak bits in here. And you hear that sound? I love you too. You can hear that sound, that's great. The steak is gonna sear, it's gonna get some color, and then you can kind of tilt the pan so just the steak is getting a lot of heat. Oh, that's great. And you want it to go quick. You just wanna get a nice crust and then flip it into the hash. Oh yeah, you see that little bit right there? All that crispy bit, the crispy fat with a nice salty meat. That's absolutely delicious. And it's a perfect time. You can kind of fold the meat into that empty spot. Once you have a crust, right into the hash. And even again, you can see how really nice and crispy the hash browns are. Crispy hash browns, crispy steak, soft cooked onion. That's delicious. And then right at the end is when I hit it with some herbs. So just take 1 or 2 leaves of basil and rip it up in your hand and just kind of let it fall in there. And it becomes really nice and fragrant. Woo! All right, so this one pan dish is almost done, but you're probably thinking to yourself, Spence, where's the egg? There he is. So I just take the hash into a nice bowl, and it's great because this will stay hot for a really long time. You put the hash in the bowl, and then it frees up some time to make a nice fried egg. That smells great. So same pan, a little bit more oil, a nice little slice of butter. I use unsalted butter. It's got a really nice flavor to it. And even when you can see it bubbling away, it kind of gets nutty. And when it gets nutty, it gets really tasty. And then simply for the egg, just crack it and lay it right down in the middle. And a little bit of patience here. Just kind of let it blip away. Turn the heat down, and you can see the butter's getting all nice and nutty. And this is my favorite part, just a little bit of salt on those egg whites, and they'll crisp up in the butter, and a few twists of pepper. And then just let it cook. Delicious. All right, this might be one of my favorite parts of the egg. Come here, come here, come here. If you just look under it, you can see the whites starting to get really nice and crispy. Woohoo! That's the best part. And then a nice, soft, decadent, a nice, soft, decadent yolk, and then right on top of the hash. Come on, you can't see that and tell me that wasn't simple. This is delicious and one of my favorite go-to breakfasts. A nice fried egg, a hash of crispy potatoes, onions, red peppers, basil, and of course, a quick fried New York steak. That, my friends, put a smile on your face.